From Caesar salad martinis to Michelin stars, 2025 has been a memorable year for our culinary world. As it comes to a close, we invite our food contributor, Alicia Miranda, to help us remember the big wins and say goodbye to some of the trends. I'm looking at you, QR-coded menus. Also, we'll have our best guesses for what's in store for restaurants and bars in 2026. It's Monday, December 15th. I'm Trinae Nuri, and here's Philly's past and future food trends. Before we get into today's conversation about food trends of 2025 and what we can expect for next year, I want to give a huge shout out to the folks who became CityCast Philly neighbors during our winter membership campaign last week. Eleanor S., Jake P., Juliet C., Margaret G., Megan H., and Wolf J. Welcome to the neighborhood. Seriously, thank you, y'all. Your support means the world to our team, and we can't wait to meet you at our upcoming member event. We'll be announcing it soon. And share your local shout outs on the podcast. Our membership campaign officially wrapped up on Friday, but here's the truth. We didn't quite reach our goals. So if 50 of you listening joined right now, we'd meet our goal and head into the new year knowing that this show has support to keep going strong. We are making a big bet on local in 2026 because we know that in a world that's more polarized and divided than ever, the stories and conversations that happen right here at home have the power to connect us and shape us. So if you've been meaning to join but haven't yet, we still really need you. Join us at membership.citycast.fm. If supporting the show and engaging more deeply with all that the city has to offer sounds like something you want to be a part of, head over to membership.citycast.fm. It's $10 a month for you, and it's absolutely invaluable to us. And by the way, we've extended our deadline for our thank you gift. We'll send everyone who becomes a member right now a CityCast Philly beanie. Also, if you gift a membership to a loved one for the holidays, we'll send you both beanies. Join today at membership.citycast.fm. All right, let's get into it. What was the Philly food trend of 2025?
Awards. Cleaned house, okay?
Okay.
I think, since, let's say, 2023, Philly has been ascending the charts, if you will, with national accolades.
And it's not just like restaurants. It's our bartenders. It's
everything.
Our pastry chefs. We went to the Tasties at the top of the year, and the Tasties were giving awards for, I guess you would say, the back of the house, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so on an individual level, like your chef or a bartender or a pastry chef, and on the collective level, like restaurant teams, bar teams, hospitality groups, I think across the board, 2025 proved we got to put some respect on Philly's name. So awards to me is what I took away this year in terms of dining culture for sure.
We got on the world's 50 best restaurants.
For the first time.
North America edition. 3 restaurants were on that. The Michelin star restaurants. James Beard winners.
Yeah.
Bon Appetit, Esquire, and New York Times Best Meal, which was the salad at Mon, which I've had.
Yeah. So across the board with, just about every big publication or, awards group, Philadelphia was recognized. I think for me, one of the most exciting things, too, is that, on the bev side, on the drink side, we did get recognition. I think Philadelphia does kind of fly under the radar when it comes to like our wine and our cocktails, because I think people still think we're such a big beer town, which we are. We love our beer. But I think like slowly our beverage programs are getting recognized. So that's been great to see. I was lucky enough to write about a piece for Bon Appetit about Almanac in Old City, and they got recognized shortly after that piece came out as one of the best new bars in America. And then Esquire named Meeting House in Fishtown, Kensington area, one of their best bars in America, which I wholeheartedly agree. So, for me, I had predicted last year around this time that 2025 would be the breakout year for Philadelphia's bar scene. And listen, I was right.
Speaking, you mentioned fish towns. I want to talk about neighborhoods, right? Yeah. And what neighborhoods get restaurants. And then I also want to talk about neighborhood restaurant weeks, which I felt different neighborhoods had their own like neighborhood restaurant week, basically essentially discounts on lunch or dinner. This year, we saw that Center City District canceled their fall restaurant week. And then there was the Amina Hospitality Group. They have several restaurants in the city, but they offer their own like restaurant week specials. But neighborhoods that I feel like don't have like an immersive restaurant culture just yet, and I'll say just yet, West Philly along Baltimore Avenue, Brewery Town. I finally went to Baby's.
Listeners, we got to clap it up that she went to Baby's.
Thank you. That bread, like you said, incredible.
I can't come on this podcast anymore at this time because we record when I'm hungry.
I know.
But I do love that you brought up what neighborhoods are maybe saturated with attention and restaurant coverage and just the volume of restaurants versus other neighborhoods that have obviously been around for a long time but are kind of getting neglected or kind of just aren't buzzing with restaurants. And hopefully they will in a few years. West Philly, is what righteously said is the best Philly.
West is best.
West is best. And anytime I'm in West Philly, it's just a completely different vibe. The food that is
compared
offered,
to what, like Center City, you mean?
Yeah, compared to Center City, because every neighborhood has its thing. Right? Like there's something synonymous that you could say for each neighborhood. I would dare to say that Rittenhouse is like your new American French hotspot, right? South Philly is obviously very Italian American, but now much more like Southeast Asian and Hispanic. West Philly obviously has its Black-owned restaurants and just has restaurants and very like family-oriented restaurants that you can't find anywhere else. And I think that spending a lot of time in West Philly when I first moved to Philadelphia, I'm curious to see how West Philly will continue to evolve. For me, I look to a restaurant in West Philly like Local 44 as an institution, and I hope that we can get more of those in that neighborhood. And then Brewery Town seems to be like up and coming. I hate using that word, but it's just because it's gone, up and down the waves. And so you have a Baby's coming in and bringing excitement to that neighborhood. I would like to see in 2026 the West Phillies and the Brewery Towns get more love. But I think, 2025, certainly we saw so much openings and coverage in your Fishtown and Kensington areas. And it's just the reality, right? That's where all the money and the investment is going. That's where you're having the new construction, the new builds, where buildings are being bought out to being turned into restaurants and mixed-use spaces. So,
but see, my take on that is that, yes, I would love to see more restaurants in brewery towns and in the West Philly neighborhoods. But that also, to me, invites gentrification. And then that's the downside, right? But I feel like each neighborhood, from the top of Northeast to the bottom of South, each neighborhood deserves more quality food.
Yeah, so here's my other hot take that I was going to say about dining trends in 2025. I'm sure everyone can relate, and we did have an episode about this, but this year was the first year that I felt dining is out of my budget. It has gotten so expensive to go out to eat and drink.
Well, heck, I don't even drink
Right.
at a restaurant because they're going to charge you that tax.
Yeah. So, and, I have some hot takes about the drinking culture this year. But I think, I would dare to say that many of us really felt the pinch in dining out this year. And I'm curious when or how long it will take, maybe sooner rather than later, that Philadelphia pricing reaches that New York City pricing where, your small plates restaurants, they're at $20 for that small plate, right?
But are the prices rising because of the cost of food, because of the cost of labor? Restaurants are being more approachable in making sure that their staff is like earning a good living.
I think it's a little bit of everything. In the conversations I have with restaurateurs and chefs, there's a mix of that. There's a mix of, food just costs more to buy, to make, to develop, all that stuff. You have labor costs, certainly. You have also them wanting to make a profit, right? The margins of restaurants are so small that they have to find a way to make some money. But I think this year for me, I was like, whoa, it's, for dining for two, the average check I noticed this year was $250. So let's see how 2026 goes. My fear is that with Michelin's arrival, we will continue to see prices rise because you mentioned gentrification, but the other part of it is like, if we're going to now say that a restaurant like Provenance is Michelin worthy and other restaurants want to be Michelin worthy, will they feel pressure to up the ante on the price and the experience? And that might leave certain people out, right? So that's the conundrum that, I'm looking at 2026 for sure.
Well, speaking of upping the ante, I want to talk about gimmicks. And this was like a hot button issue in the city this year. I'm speaking specifically to the idea of speakeasies kind of being like gimmicky. And there were some rumblings of some food critics not really feeling the speakeasy over in Northern Liberty's newsroom. I want to talk about also, like, how do you feel about the idea of a restaurant needing, like, a gimmick or pop-ups? Like we saw, like, the cereal and 90s pop-ups over at Divine Lorraine. What are your takes?
Well, my take is that someone I was speaking to recently gave it a name, and I'd never heard of this. They say it's called Eatertainment. So it's like, it is these gimmicky concept launches. There's also, like, besides those, like, speakeasies that you mentioned and these, like, weird pop-ups, there's also, like, what's with the deal with, like, an F1 arcade coming to town? Or, like, the Ballers and the Flight Club darts places, like this kind of sports gaming meets restaurant and bar situation.
Well, couldn't this be good though? In
I
a
don't
sense,
think so.
So like I'm going back and forth. So wait,
it's like mixing weird, sports gaming, live entertainment, and it's gimmicky. To me, I'm not the target audience, right? I'm a food reporter. I'm a journalist. I'm there to kind of investigate the experience and you
just said it. The experience is like, can we do something that doesn't involve drinking? Because drinking is expensive, like you just mentioned, and getting off the phone and going to a place that isn't just like this. We're sitting down. We got to drink a cocktail. We got to order appetizers. I had a great experience when I went to the newsroom speakeasy. But I will say that once I have an experience, I'm probably like less likely to go back because I know that I've experienced it.
It's a one and done.
I've already done it. Whereas like I'll go to Dos Segundos in Northern Liberties over and over again because the margaritas are good.
Yeah. What's the repeat incentive? Yeah. And I think it's just for people who want to maybe bring their out of town friends. So I think quality and value, that's me. That's what I'm looking for.
All right, we got more trends after the break. Filler Club is Philadelphia's best kept secret. It's the only place in the city where you can work out, and socialize all under one roof. Right in the heart of Philly, across from 30th Street Station, Filler Club is a private membership club built for modern city life. With multiple co-working spaces, more than 50 businesses on site, and a state-of-the-art fitness center featuring 2 full floors, personal training, an indoor pool, golf simulators, and even a cold plunge. You'll find everything you need to thrive. Visit fillerclub.com to learn more and apply to become a member. Discover why Filler Club is Philadelphia's best kept secret for work, wellness, and connection. Hey y'all, I don't know why it's so hard for me to find the perfect personal gift for the people closest to me. This year though, I'm skipping those last minute gift cards and I'm sending them an Aura frame. I can preload photos before it ships. I can also personalize each gift with a special message before it arrives. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code CityCast at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code CityCast. This deal is exclusive to listeners and frames sell out fast, so order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. A trend I would love to see in 2026 is more seating at Reading Terminal. I don't know how it's even possible. Could
More
maybe
seating,
Reading Terminal do like a streetery on Filbert?
Oh my gosh.
Would that be chaotic?
I think that'd be chaos.
Oh, dang.
I'd be here for it, but I think that'd be chaos.
I know we both kind of don't like personally to eat
I
like
think it
on
totally
the sidewalk,
depends.
but
Yeah, it
I like a
depends on the location.
structured situation.
Yes, I don't want to just be willy-nilly at a table outside where you might be forgotten about by your waiter and you're competing for space with pedestrians for sure. So
And
a
the
lovely
dog.
structured actual, like it's an extension of the restaurant outside. I would love to see that come back for sure. Yeah, I agree.
What other like trends of restaurants could we expect next year?
So this year, something big that I've noticed in Philadelphia is that we're getting more Central American restaurants, particularly from Nicaragua and Honduras. From what I'm seeing just by walking around, a lot of them are takeout spots with like some small seating inside, but they're super delicious. There's a few that I have gone to personally that I really love. There's one right across from Fountain Porter called El Tradición Catracho. There's also one near Bach called El Sabor Catracho. And then on 8th near Washington, Comida Hondureña. Sorry for my butchering of those names, but I encourage everyone to start seeking out some more Central American restaurants. I think that's just a natural and organic growth of how many Central and South American and Caribbean people we're getting here in Philadelphia, and that population growing amongst Hispanic and Latinos for sure. So that's been exciting to see.
Yeah. Let's talk about drinking. Less drinking, more drinking. What we gonna be doing next year?
I think for me, it's just about mindful drinking. So
that like farm to glass concept?
Sure, that's part of it. But one more overall mindful drinking to me is just being more conscious about moderating my drinking. So there's a term, I really hate it, but I guess I'm that person. It's called zebra striping. What that means is it might be someone who orders a normal alcoholic drink, maybe has 2 of those, and then switches to something low or no ABV, right? So maybe I'll have 2 cocktails and then switch to a non-alcoholic drink or like a beer. So I'm not having,
I do that all the time. I didn't know that was like a thing.
Yeah, it's called zebra striping.
Okay.
Yeah, so like just being more conscious about moderating my intake, or I'm also just a very slow drinker, so it'll take me like an hour to finish one cocktail. But yeah, just being more mindful of that. I've been practicing that all year, and it does make a difference. I think the cool thing that is making it easier for people to moderate their alcohol intake or just completely abstain from alcohol altogether for whatever reason you have is that we finally have a non-alcoholic bar, a cocktail bar, which is really amazing. It's called Bar Palmina in Fishtown.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent, high-quality craft cocktails that just have no alcohol. They don't even include caffeine, which is really cool. The menu at that bar is really transparent, so you can know what to expect and what you're drinking.
We also had Nikki on the show.
Yes. She's wonderful, and I think I would love to see more of that. I would love to see more all NA bars. But the other thing that makes it easier for people to abstain from alcohol or to moderate their drinking is that we are seeing a lot more NA sections on bar menus and cocktail menus. So I don't think it's a trend anymore. I think bar managers and bartenders are realizing that so many people have decided to become sober since the pandemic. And they want to make interesting quality drinks for those people. And why not? You have all the ingredients to do that. So I think it's only going to improve. I think we're going to see more and more of those low and no ABV options. And then I think the other reason why I'm probably going to moderate my alcohol intake, and we've had this conversation offline, is it's really expensive, to be quite honest. We are now a city where a cocktail or even a glass of wine is at that $20 mark.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you alerted me, which I've never paid attention to, you get taxed, right, when you order a drink. And so now I'm hyper aware of how many drinks I order because of the taxes that I get charged, which is insane.
So this sounds like there could be more happy hours next year.
I would be curious if happy hours become top of mind and make a big comeback to accommodate the high pricing of craft cocktails and wine.
Favorite cocktail this year?
You know what? I've seen a lot of milk punches this year. If you don't know what a milk punch is, bear with me, but it's a clarified cocktail where you are steeping your ingredients in milk. And you do that over, I would say 24 hours, and you come out with a really cool, clear liquid that has all these flavors concentrated in it. And it's usually served with a giant ice cube. It takes a few days to do the prep work, but a lot of bartenders are getting very creative with their milk punches, and it's a really cool texture. It's more creamy. Again, you have that concentrated flavor. So we saw a lot of milk punches this year. I love a milk punch. We saw so many places do entire sections of martinis. Every bar, every restaurant now has their own martini section.
Especially that Caesar salad martini. Did you try that?
Absolutely not.
No, I can't do that. I cannot do it. Well, speaking of weird, maybe worst, what's the worst thing you ate this year?
Oh my God. I really have to think about that. The worst thing that I ate.
Can I tell you mine?
Sure.
I love a bagel.
Okay.
I love a bagel. Butter, cream cheese, turkey, bacon, eggs, whatever. I do not like Kismet bagels.
Oh.
Too dense.
Too dense. Yeah, they are pretty dense. Yeah. I like their bagels a lot.
I like spread better.
I actually have never had a spread bagel, so I'll have to try that out.
Mouth drops. What was your favorite restaurant opening this year?
I will say Fleur's. Yeah, Fleur's in the Fishtown, Kensington area off the York Dolphin stop. Chef George Sabatino has been a Philly chef for more than a decade. He had his own restaurant on Rittenhouse for a couple years. He's worked everywhere. And now he's back and he's a partner with some restaurant vets who used to work for Star and Defined Hospitality. And they opened a beautiful kind of dual floor restaurant that's part of a 5-story building. It used to be a furniture warehouse. And the food that he's making is, I would say, modern seasonal French with a lot more light and bright flavors and preparations. So think a lot of fermentation, so a lot of pickled things. It's not heavy cream and butter sauces. So he's using regional ingredients, from farms here in PA and Jersey. I had the opening menu, and then I was just there this past week, and it is really lovely, different, has a different point of view. For me, when I heard about the concept, I thought, does Philly really need another French restaurant?
I was just about to ask you that,
yeah. But there are no French restaurants up in that neighborhood of Fishtown and Kensington. And then his approach to it is completely different. So it's really just quite refreshing, and absolutely delicious. Even the dessert program, he partners with Mighty Bread on some of the pastries.
Mighty Bread. We also had Chris on the show, too.
Yeah, so you had me at Mighty Bread, right?
Yeah. That sourdough is crazy.
Yeah, so even a simple dish on the Fleur's menu is a sourdough with house-made mushroom butter, and it's to die for. So I think Fleur's was one of my favorite openings for sure this year.
Does Philly need more cheesesteaks?
No.
I think so. I think so.
Although I will say I do have a new favorite cheesesteak spot, and it's called Palace Steaks inside of Elma. So
Tell me about it.
It's a Sunday only pop-up inside of Elma on East Girard. It turns into a completely different restaurant on Sundays. This is part of a dual dining concept where he does Elma 5 days. I think it's Wednesday through Saturday. And then Sunday completely flips the restaurant to become cheesesteaks and hoagies and cutlet sandwiches. And he partners with different chefs and restaurants to do a 1 day only kind of special. Okay. It's legitimate food. Shout out to James Nardone.
Okay.
But I would say Palace Steaks is one of my, they opened, and that's probably my new favorite cheesesteak. Yeah.
What are you getting on your cheesesteak?
Oh, his is basically shredded Cooper Sharp. Yeah.
It melts. What's the difference?
It melts, and it gets actually in between the steak. So it's not just a slice of cheese. It's integrated with the chopped up steak, onions, and maybe a little ketchup. And that's it.
I like your style.
Yeah, that's it.
We did talk about, I guess maybe some of the policy issues around restaurants.
Yeah.
What other kind of policy issues are Philly restaurant and bars trying to figure out or kind of navigate for 2026?
I don't think it's anything official that's been communicated, but through my reporting, a lot of restaurateurs, especially if they're, first timers or independent restaurateurs, meaning this is their first time owning and opening a restaurant, a lot of them complain about the bureaucratic red tape and how long it takes to open a restaurant. One example, and I did a story about this, babies. We were just talking about babies. So Raquel Dang, who owns Baby's Cucina in Brewerytown, she bought that building in 2022, but could not open until February 2025 because of how much red tape and unhelpfulness basically the city was. On top of that, she had a lot of issues with the contractors bailing out on her, inspectors giving her the wrong information. And this is a story that I hear constantly when I'm interviewing chefs and restaurant owners, is just the lack of actual support, whether that's infrastructure or funding from the city. And it's something that doesn't get talked about because who wants to complain about the city? But I think that it should, because if Philadelphia is going to continue to get all these awards and attention and people want to say, oh, Philadelphia is so, community oriented and these restaurants support each other. Well, in order for us to grow, we need the city to really support us in many different ways. And you were talking about how, Center City Restaurant Week decided not to activate this year. I would like to see in 2026 the neighborhood bids, like the city, what is it called? The neighborhood association groups maybe step up to try and fill in the gaps of how they can work together, create systems that they can launch their own restaurant week or something interesting, maybe more block parties, right? We're seeing stories that the block parties are going away because we have to pay the police so much money. So how can we be creative and work together to kind of fill in these gaps to support our restaurants and to support our small businesses in the dining world? Because I think that's super important. It'll increase foot traffic, obviously have more customers, and give a different experience. So I think that would be really cool to see in 2026.
Do you think Philly is ready to feed the world for 2026?
No.
So we need more support.
Yeah, we really need to step up the infrastructure in all sorts of ways, right? 2026 is going to be a massive, massive year, especially from the tourism side. It'd be great to fund SEPTA so that we can support all these incoming visitors. Yeah, the sidewalk seating will help with the restaurants to cater to more visitors. I think just all across the board, yeah, the city has to step up. The state has to step up.
Another aspect of going to a restaurant is looking at the menu. And menus are on these QR codes, or sometimes they're printed. What is going to happen next year?
Well, I think for sure this year we basically, I would say 90% got rid of the QR codes. Like that now that seems to be a thing of the past. Thank God. I don't like the QR codes. And I definitely see that print menus are back, and interesting print menus, right? So there's a lot of bar menus or restaurant menus that are fun or kind of original in design. And they also kind of prompt, they're kind of like a conversation piece, if you will, or a conversation starter. Some examples that stick out to me. So La Jefa, they have like this little tiny flip book, which is printed on paper, which is really cute. At the Lovers Bar inside Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there's that spinning carousel wheel that's built of wood. And it actually was designed by a local agency here called RTO&P. Mylou has like this vintage Rolodex, like those 80s style flip Rolodex. Mm-hmm. That the staff use, but also like can be used for guests off menu requests. At Next of Kin, they have like that retro photo album for their cocktail menu. So I think that we're going to see actual more printed, like highly designed menus come back, and the QR code will fade into the ether.
Alicia Miranda, thank you so much for talking with me about the dining trends of 2025 and maybe what we could expect next year.
Thanks for having me.
That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. If you enjoyed this episode about 2025 dining trends and what could be coming next year, send this to your foodie friend. Rate the show, leave us a review, and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to sign up for our morning newsletter, Hey Philly, to learn more about what else Philly's talking about. And don't forget, you can support the show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Philly neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye.